Thanks for joining us on this edition of National Focus. I'm Kimani Saint-Jean. In the headlines, the Youth Development Division produces 45 more trained young people, 10 new homes for San Sauveur residents, and Dominica nears full access to potable water. Details of our headline stories and others after this.
Did you know the Caribbean Court of Justice is 2 courts in 1? The CCJ has 2 functions: an original jurisdiction, which deals with your right to move between CARICOM countries freely and your right to move your money and your business. This is the basis of the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, CSME, and the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, and an appellate jurisdiction to hear appeals from courts of those countries which decide to use it as their final court of appeal and no longer go to the Privy Council. All CARICOM member states who have signed the agreement establishing the CCJ are members of the CCJ.
Welcome back. The government of Dominica is seeing to it that the victims of the 2010 San Sauveur landslide are not forgotten. Under the Housing Revolution program, 10 new houses are being built to provide for those whose homes were affected by the natural disaster. GIS's Tasia Flosak files this report.
The Dominica Labour Party administration's Housing Revolution program has reached the San Sauveur constituency. 10 families will soon call home these 10 houses currently under the final phase of construction. This housing scheme is a result of government's goal to improve the lives of constituents who were affected by a natural disaster in 2010. On Wednesday, GIS News visited the housing scheme with the Honourable Minister for Housing, Lands and Water Resource Management, Reginald Austrie, the Honourable Member of Parliament for the Cassabris constituency, Johnson Drago, China's Ambassador to Dominica, His Excellency Li Jiaoning, and other government officials. This project, which commenced in October 2014, is costing government over $2 million, with $1.3 donated as a courtesy grant from the People's Republic of China. Just 5 months after, contractors Dionson Gregoire and Matthew Gustave are reporting significant progress. One of the contractors, Gustave, gave a brief update on work being done.
I just doing some landscaping in the yard right now, which it apparently take me about 4 months, to accomplish, 5 buildings that I have, which is the 5 green buildings. They carry 2 bedroom, bathroom, toilet, kitchen, living room. And I pretty much, get everything done in the time frame that I had to do it, which I'm very proud of. And I can say, job well done. So I'm pretty sure that when I live here, the people them that gonna come here, they're gonna be quite happy with, their home, and they're gonna be, satisfied with what they get because it's a nice structure.
The project consists of 10 mixed timber concrete houses on a total of 590 square feet. Each house on the scheme is valued at $139,000. The Honourable Minister for Housing, Lands and Water Resource Management, Reginald Austrie, says government is happy to give back to the people of San Sauveur and nationals island-wide.
For the people of San Sauveur, I'm excited, I'm elated, because as you can see, the houses are of top quality, and our aim as a government is to improve the housing stock, but also to allow our people to live in decent housing conditions. It was in fact very challenging, but we succeeded. So all thanks to the Ministry of Housing, Ministry of Public Works, the Permanent Secretaries, both Mr. Layton, who was then now Mr. Blackmore, and all those who assisted in making this project a reality. But no thanks and praise can be too much for our friends from China, who have been very, very generous and very honest and genuine with the government and the people of Dominica. All thanks goes to them, and with the help of God, the relationship will continue as we continue to seek to improve the lives of our people here on the island.
Acting Housing Manager Imran Kofi is satisfied with the new extension to the village. He says the project, now almost complete, has come a long way.
We are comfortable on the site now, but the site was very much of a challenge. You may recognize how steep the hill is to come up. So there was no road to the site. It was just vegetation. So it was quite a challenge, and because of the nature of the soil as well. Even when we started construction, we had to do an intervention of this concrete access so that the trucks could deliver materials.
China's ambassador to Dominica, His Excellency Li Jiangning, accompanied the group of officials for his first tour of the project and first-time visit to the constituency. Ambassador Li Jiangning says he is overall very impressed.
As we were driving around the corner, all of us in the car have said, "Wow, it's beautiful, it's impressive." And after we have seen the houses, they are almost finished. Basically finished, and should be ready very soon for the people to move in. And I'm also impressed by the government of Dominica, who took a comprehensive approach to this housing project to make it not only a housing project, but also a community project. They have been thinking about making the area good for children, good for the community, good for families, and that's very impressive.
The Honourable Parliamentary Representative for the Casperos constituency, Johnson Jago, is elated that soon residents of the community will receive the keys to their new homes. The Honourable Minister is also pleased that the project has provided employment for youth in his constituency.
Not only did we employ 2 young contractors, they were at one time, they both had approximately 40 young men working with them, learning various skills. They were not only working, but they were learning in masonry and carpentry and plumbing, electrical wiring. So there are quite a few guys who are leaving this project ready to work wherever they were to get a job, ready to work in the construction field across the island, and that in itself was very important to us. And not only that, they were able to bring an income to their homes, steady incomes for the last 5 months at least.
Village Council Clerk Ravenna Fontaine says a hearty thank you to the Honourable Drago for what she considers a gift to the community.
On behalf of the community of San Sauveur and Petit-Soufre, I would like to say thanks to our Palrep for doing a great job. For the past years while I'm alive, for me that is the best Palrep we ever had. He's a very hard-working man. He's a community person, people's person too. So for me, I find that's the best Palrep, and he's working very hard to help his people.
On May 24, 2010, a massive landslide occurred here in this part of San Sauveur, claiming the lives of 3 residents. One beneficiary, Peter Stout, is especially happy. Stout, who lost his family and their home in the 2010 disaster, is thankful to government for this gesture.
It was easy the Monday morning, so the Sunday night, rain started falling the Sunday night at least 8 o'clock to go to reach Monday morning. Lightning thunder to reach Monday morning. The last lightning and the last thunder that happened, that was it. I did one thunder here, I don't hear blue, and that was it. When I do watch, it was already closed. The farmer was already break down the house, perish everybody. When I come by, I see that, I just start to cry. For me, it's a good thing they build in the house up there. I'm very glad for them coming.
Over the last 5 years, government has spent over $20 million in repairs, renovations and construction of new homes under the Revolution program. During its new term in office, the Dominica Labour Party government has promised to build an additional 1,500 new homes across the length and breadth of Dominica. I'm Tasia Fosak reporting for GIS News.
Thank you, Tasia, for that report. Playing fields across the islands are to receive better lighting. On Thursday, officials from the Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture and Constituency Empowerment and Solaris, a lighting company from Barbados, visited playing fields around the island to determine the most appropriate type of lighting for the fields. The Honourable Minister for Sports, Justina Charles, says this is an effort to upgrade playing fields across the island and to allow the entire family to have better access to the facilities at nights.
We've identified a few playing fields across the island, and they are visiting the playing fields to look at the possibility of lighting some of those fields. And what will happen is that after they've gone and they've looked at the fields, they will be able to look at exactly, develop their plan as per playing field to see if we can ensure that there will be lighting so it can encourage evening games. So they will be looking at quite a few playing fields around the island, and they will now put a cost into it after they've developed the plan. And then we will source the funds, the Minister of Finance, we will discuss with the Minister of Finance, present the proposal, and then he will look at seeking funding for the projects.
GIS will bring you a full report in Friday's newscast. You're watching National Focus. Still to come, government lauded for its move to provide 100% access to potable water on the island. Stay tuned.
There is a silent, invisible killer in our midst, a killer which largely goes unnoticed as it plies its deadly trade. Its name is second-hand tobacco smoke, which has a far greater impact on persons inhaling this poison than on smokers themselves. Second-hand tobacco smoke is especially detrimental in public places and negatively impacts our national health as well as public health expenditure. Stop this invisible killer now. Say no to second-hand tobacco smoke in public places. A public health message brought to you by the Ministry of Health and the Pan American Health Organization.
Welcome back. The move to have 100% access to potable water by 2015 in Dominica is being praised by both the public and private sector. The Dominica Manufacturers Association, Dominica Water and Sewage Company, DOWASCO, and the Forestry Division commended government and the efforts of DOWASCO on that move during a panel discussion on water on Tuesday.
Having water, tap water, I think is really a basic need. And Dominicans are really blessed to have that resource and to have access to that resource. You mentioned that it's easy to get the water because you have so many rivers, streams, but also we know that the terrain is complicated. So the distribution networks are sometimes very costly and expensive to maintain.
Chief Engineer at DOWASCO, Magnus Williams, says the drive for 100% access to potable water stems from one of the United Nations Millennium Development Goal, which seeks to have the proportion of people without access to improved water sources by 2015. Dominica has surpassed the target and is now nearing 98%.
Financing has not always been available, and the government decided to set certain priority projects and get funding for those projects. And of course, we executed them in phases. At first we did the Dailies, Warner and Campbell, and then we did Penville, Benz, and now we're doing Bells Penrise. So these were 6 priority projects which on completion would bring us as close as possible to that 100% mark as is feasible right now. Of course, you have a few pockets of population that are scattered around that it will be difficult to actually achieve 100% right now. But in terms of service to all the major population centers and communities, we will reach very close to that 100% mark. Of course, in execution of the projects themselves, because of our terrain, as it was mentioned, is very difficult. So that is a challenge, but the main challenge has been securing finances, and fortunately we have been able to get those to complete those priority projects.
A number of priority projects are currently underway by DOWASCO.
The Savannah Water Supply Project, that's to enhance the water supply to a small hamlet in Scotshead, which has been suffering for quite a number of years. So that project is in its closing stages. Hopefully it will be completed by the first week of April. And we have Union Estate, again, is to augment water supply in that area because there are a lot of potential housing developments and ongoing housing developments in that area. Again, that project is nearing completion. And we have our West Coast Water Project, which is a project that was funded partially by the European Union. They've contributed about $25 million towards executing the first 2 lots of that project. Those have been completed, and right now we are about to start lot 3, which is the construction of 8 storage tanks. Actually, it was 9 storage tanks initially, but the government provided the funds for construction of the Grand Savan water supply project, which also is nearing completion. And the other 8 tanks will be funded on the World Bank on the pilot program for climate resilience / DVRP, which is the disaster vulnerability reduction project. So that phase is expected to commence quite shortly. Of course, we have the Bells Penrise project that's ongoing, started somewhere in October and expected to be completed hopefully by June or July. And the works are going at a very satisfactory pace. We also have our upgrade of our main water system. That's the WA1 water project.
748 million people around the world still do not have access to an improved drinking water source.
We want to recognize that water is a finite resource, you know, and if not properly managed, we can easily lose the abundance of water we have, easily. But we have to put systems in place, and we are happy that in Dominica we are doing the best that we can. There's much more that needs to be done. We are well on our way, but we have achieved so much.
In more news, 45 young people are now trained leaders and counselors after weeks of sessions with the Youth Development Division. Jana Hector brings this report from their graduation ceremony.
A battery of training programs taking place between late last year and this year has produced 45 young people who are ready and certified to work for the good of their communities and their country. On Wednesday, March 25th, the Youth Development Division, the pioneer of youth empowerment, formally graduated these young people, sending them off with words still ringing in their ears of their invaluable mission to serve. 23 young men and women of the Eastern and Western districts learned leadership, and not just that, multidisciplinary leadership.
The course comprised of 3 stages which focus on encouragement and personal development as a basis for community development and the need to develop a sense of trust and honesty. The sessions were stage 1, the individual, leadership types and styles, communication skills, speaking in public 1, the leader as manager. Stage 2, emotional development, gender dynamics, group dynamics, counseling skills, and conflict management. Stage 3, program planning, project planning, budgeting, constitution, managing meetings, speaking in public 2, protocol, and evaluation.
9 others who first had to have completed the leadership course were certified in counseling, either basic, advanced, or therapeutic. They dealt with subjects including empathy, sincerity, change, problem solving, and cooperation in the basic class. Advanced students learned to counsel clients in areas of marital stress, career guidance, partner choice, behavior, and others. The therapeutic counselors completed their curriculum in 4 months, meeting twice weekly.
This workshop intended to help participants professionally and personally and offer experiential training and counseling skills. Participants were taken back over the years of their life, adolescence, childhood, infancy, and interpreting early memories and their relevance to today's challenges.
Bernard Bonteef, Chief Youth Development Officer, says this program of the Youth Development Division has consistently produced results, and this is so because its curriculum is deliberate and precise.
There was an outcry in the entire society because of the number of social ills. We had Black Power movement in the days of the SMA revolt. And we had a lot of social uprising. The young people were just unstable. That was when the Youth Division was born, given a mandate by the then administration of E.O. LeBlanc. And our mandate, well, I wasn't there yet, but the mandate of the division was to get back the young people on track. And one of the areas we had to do that, the mandate had to be carried out, was to train them in leadership.
Over 2,000 have been trained since the program's inception and can be found in every societal sector, making a difference just as the Youth Development Division has made in their lives. Bontif says all of those who have been changed by the program are better people and citizens because they use their skills not for gain but for love of people and country. Senator the Honorable Jaizai Benoit is a past graduate of the program and is currently president of the National Youth Council, an organization working towards the same goal as the Youth Division, to equip young people for a better Dominica. He addressed the graduates, referring to them as Dominica's pride and joy, praising them for going a step further to make themselves the solutions to the problems that they see.
We as young people in this 21st century need to realize one thing for sure. We can no longer act as advocates for development. We indeed must strive for our empowerment towards our development. I believe there's a fundamental difference insofar as advocacy is important. We must strive for empowerment. And I will say to you that in participating in these training programs, you have indeed taken that step and strive towards this short-term goal. This certificate coming from the Youth Development Division cannot really quantify the importance of the training that you have received. But you will continue to see it as you go back to your youth groups and put forward your best foot forward to make a change.
Two of those who were certified on Wednesday took to the fore to say just what the program means to them.
The sessions that benefited me the most were those on counseling, protocol, and public speaking. Additionally, I was able to meet a bright bunch of people who were easy to get along with, and the relations we formed will be remembered. The course also equipped me with skills and knowledge that I can utilize in my youth group and in other leadership positions I will encounter in life.
In that time span, my colleagues and I have gotten to know each other as well as our parents, or even better. We counseled each other. We were each other's test clients or counselors. Even towards the end of phase 2, when we found ourselves our own clients.
In all of this, how does the Ministry of Youth Affairs feel about the obvious hands-on investments being made in young people? The Honorable Minister Justina Charles, whose ministry is responsible for the Youth Development Division, simply says, we are on the right track.
I must say that the Youth Development Division has definitely impacted on many of our leaders in the state, and some of our leaders out of state too, because some people have benefited from the programs and moved on. So definitely we can see the impact of the work of the Youth Development Division, the Youth Council, as they continue to work to empower our young people. I look at you as somebody said, you know, sometimes we say the young people are the leaders of tomorrow. You are all leaders. And I honestly feel very, very elated and proud to sit and look at the caliber of young people sitting there who have completed this program. It says to us we are on the right path and we are now shaping a different Dominica.
For GIS News, I'm Jana Hector.
Thank you, Jana, for that report. And that's the English news. McPherson St. Luce is next with Creole highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole. Non, moi, c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, habitants ou belges qui n'y plus meilleure façon de travailler à cette occasion à eux. Même Parlement Honorable Kelvin Darrow mettez mise en place pour réhabiliter Chimewet area par habitants qui travaillent à cette occasion là. Honorable Darrow visité l'occasion là mercredi semaine là.
Nous avons fait travail en Chimé. Chimé ça là c'est pour ces femmes là pour avoir accès aux femmes et puis ça c'est un bon projet plus nous pour supporter ces femmes là hot bells et puis ces femmes là yo venir parler et puis moi puis moi c'est non parlement pour Bells. Et puis, il dit, moi, pas rep, je mets ça là, nous pour faire le travail là. Et bien, moi, aller, nous taper l'argent là pour faire. Et bien, aujourd'hui là, tiens, moi, bon, puis je mets faire le travail en les chimie ça là pour ces femmes là. Et bien, là, je parle puis ces femmes là. Ils ont dit, c'est un bel projet. Le gouvernement qui travaille. Et puis, ça pas en chimie, nous qui, nous pour dire, pas faire pièce travail en ça là, puis en Bells. Plus Bells ni plus femmes. Nous pour ces femmes là, gouvernement là, nous concernons et puis et bien nous pouvons faire travail pour assister ces femmes là.
Quand même si l'honorable Darrow, il a fait parole qui il a tient commitment parole assister ces habitants là.
Les moi venir hot Bells et puis mon parler et puis moi et puis il dit mais pas rep nous faire ça nous faire ça. Ma pas en dit oui, et puis par affaire, moi je fais. Puis je believe Bell c'est une bonne community, il y a des belles people là, les gens qui travaillent web, et puis ils peuvent faire ça, ils peuvent faire pour voir les enfants à l'école, pour mettre manger dans la table, et tout bagaille ça là. So le gouvernement a supporté Bells et puis nous avons dit merci pour le Premier ministre Skerrit qui a assisté, qui a tapé l'argent là pour faire projet ça là, Hot Bells. Et bien, projet ça là, c'est un bon projet pour ces femmes là. Et nous avons merci pour le projet ça là, Hot Bells.
Un autre nouvel projet pour le territoire Kalinago qui a marché bien. Mon parlement honorable Cassius Darrow visiter ce projet là mercredi.
Nous avons parlé de ce Kaila place Kalinago territory. Et pour nous comme peuple Kalinago, nous pensons que ça c'est un bon projet par le gouvernement Labour Party Dominique. Il prend le Labour Party Dominique, le gouvernement Labour Party pour voir peuple Kalinago comme une nation qui a besoin d'élever là où il est. Ça fait révolution en Kaï, ça fait beaucoup de plaisir, le plaisir pour voir ce gouvernement a fait. Parce que mon peuple Kalinago a accepté ce gouvernement a fait. Et nous allons continuer à recevoir l'assistance du gouvernement Labour Party. Le peuple Kalinago a déjà fait plusieurs housing schemes au Venezuela et plus d'huile par le gouvernement Chine. Et nous allons vraiment remercier le gouvernement du peuple Kalinago pour ça qu'il a fait pour nous. Aider nous à élever la vie de la nous.
Honorable Darrow aussi mentionné d'autres projets qui tout mon pays là.
En général, nous avons un projet qui a fait un pays. Nous avons Silver Lake, Kalinago Territory, nous avons San Sauveur. So, nous avons vu ce gouvernement qui a gardé le problème de gens qui ne peuvent pas décor avec un deuil pour mettre dans l'autre état. Là, ils ont joué la vie pour dans plus meilleure façon.
Le gouvernement Dominique a mis attention à ces révolutions pour tous les citoyens Dominique. En autre nouvelle, le Parlement pour Guambé, Honorable Justin Charles, qui a fait parole qui facilite le sportement qui a clété. Selon Honorable Charles, mon communauté ça l'a bien plaisir pour ça.
Comment on parle rap, peut-être mon pas ni pièce côté pour ces jeunes légumes à jouer. So yo te ka jouer les chimères. So ça nous fait devant community center là la tennis d'auteur. So nous mettons un hard court là yo ka jouer basketball, yo ka jouer netball. Mais les yo ni timide problème avec yo les jouer plus tard les après-midi on parti monde qui travaille avec qui les participer. So la journée pas toujours impossible pour tout le monde. So pour encourager ça nous fait nous mettre un budget là pour nous mettre clarté en l'air là. Et vraiment ça dit des semaines qui passaient, yo mettez ces pôles là. Samedi, des jours qui passaient, jeune homme là était là qui mettait ces lights là avec couille wire là. So ça qui fait depuis nous taper electrical division pour venir pour test là, ban test light là, nous qui connect light là. So c'est jeune moun là, avec moun montin avec tête moun qui ni light en les plein facility. So yo ça jouer les souhaits si on ni pour jouer les souhaits.
Facilité ça là qui aussi servi pour d'autres activités.
facility sa la yo sa also servi pour faire ti social programs, ti bitin ti activity pour jeunes légion. So si nous ni light la yo sa et ça encourager yo faire ti bitin yo les après-midi pour rentrer dans bonheur les souhaits. So c'est pour ça nous mettez. So mon content, mon savent c'est moun tête mon nan c'est jeune moun yo déjà excité depuis yo ouais moun nan mettez pause là. So mon savent actuellement yo da juste plus content mais mon ka dit dans 2-3 semaines, yo ke light là depuis nous test li éveil passé, yo ke light gouvernement nous ke mette light là les côtes là-bas yo.
Monsieur mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelles en créole pour à présent. Non, moi c'est McPherson Luce. Au revoir.
Got trouble asking for help? Find out when and how to ask next on our tip of the day.
Wash your hands. I am Adora Tuse, health educator from the Ministry of Health. Proper hand washing protects against the spread of many common illnesses and germs. Wash your hands often with soap and water, or you may use a hand sanitizer. Remember, clean hands save lives. Protect yourself.
A message from the Health Promotion of the Ministry of Health.
People often don't ask for help because they think it's perceived as a sign of weakness. But you can't be successful if you don't ask for what you need. So here's how to make it easier. Help others first. Build a positive reputation as someone who's willing to lend a hand. For example, offer to assist with a small task or ask if someone could use extra input on a project. Know what you want to ask. If you need help with a current project, take the time to identify your most important goals and list the steps and resources needed to achieve them. Use this series of needs to ask for help. And ask smartly. Many requests are so poorly worded that it's difficult to respond. Yours should be specific, meaningful, action-oriented, real, and time-bound. In other words, say why you need help, ask for something specific to be done, and say when you need it to be done. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website, news.gov.dm. Like our Facebook page, facebook.com/GIS News Dominica, and follow us on Twitter at GIS Dominica. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. From all of us here on the GIS News production team, I'm Kimani. Thanks for watching and join us again next time on National Focus.